Hey friends, in today's video, I'll show you how to use Clay together with a tool called Growth Machine, which claims to be the best all-in-one tool for effortless multi-channel cold outreach, which basically enables you to reach out to people using a mix of LinkedIn, email, calling, and Twitter, otherwise known as X, according to their website. So in super simple terms, in order to set up Growth Machine together with Clay, you would need to do the following 7 steps. And the first step is to connect the API key. So the way you will go about that is inside of your Growth Machine account, you will navigate to the bottom left-hand corner and you would be able to see over here that you have the settings. So click on the settings button. At that moment in time, you go to integrations and API and just copy this API key, which will be right in front of you. Now you can get out on a free trial like I am right now. And all you would then do is inside of Clay, you would click on add enrichment inside of your table. You'll type in Growth Machine, and you should see Growth Machine pop up over here. For the time being, we're just going to select the second option of creating or updating a lead. So let's click on that. And over here, when you click on Manage Accounts, you can then add the API key that we just created here. So you will click on Add Connection, copy and paste the API key, give it a name, and then just make sure that it's your default key, and then test account and save. At that moment in time, you've completed step 1 of the process of using Clay together with Growth Machine, which is basically just setting up your API key connection. So next up on our checklist is building a quick email campaign inside of Growth Machine. Now, the way you would typically go about this is you would navigate to the left-hand side of the panel to campaigns. All you would then need to do here is scroll to the very bottom, and you should see over here that you can create a new campaign. The one thing that really annoyed me here, I must say, is that you need to upgrade to a paid account in order to build your own campaign. And like this, you can only use the default templates, which in my opinion is just pointless, with all my love and respect for Growth Machine. So basically over here, you just select a random campaign. So I'm just going to select the first one and click on Create. At that moment in time, I'm going to click on Create Campaign once again. And you would see that, it provides you with a video summary. So I'm just going to spare you the explanation here, but it's very similar to any other tools where you just choose the specific step that you want to go for. So in this case, you would need to connect your LinkedIn account in order to do the LinkedIn actions. You would need to connect your email account in order to do the email actions. And typically, in order for all of this to run smoothly with this specific campaign, the one thing that you must do is basically name the campaign to start with. So I'm just going to call it Test 3. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we create an audience. If we don't have an audience, we don't have a lead list of people. So just as we created the template for the campaign, we should then navigate to the left side of the panel, which says leads, I believe. And in the leads here, we need to go into audiences and create a new audience. So in the top right corner, you'll click on new audience. And here you can call it Test 2, for example. So at that moment in time, you can see that this audience has been created, and now we are basically ready to push the data from Clay into the Growth Machine. So the first step that needs to happen in order to do this is to generate a custom message. The way you will go about that is inside of your Clay account, you'll basically notice that you have the details of the person, and you probably already roughly know what you want to say to this person already, right? So the way you will generate this message is by clicking on Add Column. You'll click on Message. And over here, you can say, hi, first name, what's your 5-kilometer PB, for example. Obviously, PB means personal best, right? So we can keep that as the subject line and the body text. So now we can assume that this is basically email 1. So we can rename the column to email 1. And all we need to do in order to push this into Growth Machine is click on Add Enrichment, type in Growth Machine, bonus points if you don't misspell this one. And you select this enrichment to create or update a lead. So when you click on that, you need to select the audience. This is why we just created an audience literally just now. So you need to click on Refresh Fields, and it should pull out Test 2, which is the audience that we just created. And then you can just feed it all the data that we know about the person. So we know their first name, we know their last name, all of that fun stuff. And remember, we just created this email 1 as well. What do we do with that? Glad you asked, thank you. So all we need to do is add it as a custom attribute. So we'll click on custom attribute. Over here, we'll type in email 1, and voila, we're good to go. We'll literally have email 1 over here. And all we do at that moment in time is just click on save and run. But before that, let's just make sure that everything is fine. You can also save this as a template so that next time it's a lot easier for you to basically not have to go through all of these steps manually, and just save and run. And let's just add all of those 10 people into an audience list. This leads already existed in a list that I tested before, so we would say lead updated, but in your case, it will say that the lead was added to an audience. You should be able to see them inside of your audiences here. So you can see that there are 10 leads inside of the audience. You can see all of the leads here, all of their names and so on. And as soon as we have the audience list, all we need to do is navigate back to the campaigns. And once again, we're going through the checklist. So we generated a custom message, we added the lead to the campaign, we created an audience. And what we need to do now is add the custom variables to the actual campaign. So the way we'll do that is we'll click on the campaign that we just created, which is this campaign over here. And inside of the email step, because I guess we only have one email to show this with, inside of the email step, what we need to do is click on variables. And remember, which hopefully you remember at this moment in time, the variable that we passed on was the custom attribute 1. So if we go into Clay again, you would remember that we passed on custom attribute 1, which is email 1, right? So all we now need to do is just click on custom attribute 1. We'll click on save, and let's just give it a quick subject line. And at that moment in time, if we jump back into the email right away over here, if we jump back into the email, and if we click on preview in the bottom right-hand corner, voila, it should say now custom attribute 1 to be precise. And if we just click on save and click on preview, let's just give it a second. For some reason, I don't know what it is. I think it definitely is not on my side, but it's just really buggy. And that's the one thing that really annoys me when I do these kind of videos with platforms. And voila, I'm not sure if you caught onto that because it's so buggy, this platform, honestly. But in very simple terms, if we look at the email copy itself over here, if I click on preview, you should see that the email gets generated at the bottom. What's your 5 kilometer PB? And that's exactly the email that we just passed on from Clay. So in a nutshell, this is how you would go about this. Of course, on top of that, I can show you button by button how you would add different steps and so on. But full disclosure, I'm on a free trial with them right now. And since I've had so many bugs so far, I'm probably not going to upgrade to a paid plan ever after shooting this tutorial. But in a nutshell, if you do want to use it with Clay, this is how you'd go about it. I might even add a link down below so you can get some sort of extended free trial. I'm not sure if they offer those, but I'm going to bully their team and say that I'll have a bunch of you hopefully sign up for the platform to try it out. But the reality is the biggest benefits of La Growth Machine, from what I've seen playing around with it for the last half an hour or so, is that yes, you can do multi-channel outreach. So you can do emails, LinkedIn, calling, all of that. You can add that as a multi-touch sequence. But the real downside is, once again, as far as my experience goes with them, it's fairly buggy. And in my opinion, it's just probably not built for kind of mass outreach. So once again, if you run an agency like ours, where we're sending 300,000, 400,000 emails every month, you may want to consider another tool. And once again, if you're in the market for these type of tools, I'll make sure to link straight after the video how you can use Clay together with SmartLead, which is my personal platform of choice for cold email outreach. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will make sure to link straight after this video a video to SmartLead and how you can use SmartLead. Anyway, see you in the next one. Cheers.